This week, Prebys on Music will feature one of the region's best female jazz vocalists, Terri Aldrich. Tune in to Prebys on Music this week. Hello and welcome to another segment of Prebys on Music. And hey, I think we have a great show for you today, especially if you like jazz vocalists. And we have one of the best in the region right here on the show. And not only a great jazz vocalist, but a very attractive and accomplished jazz vocalist. So please help me welcome Miss Terri Aldrich to the show. Terri?
Hi, Scott.
Welcome to Bismarck. It is great to have. It's a treat for me because, you know, in this part of the country, jazz vocalists are very rare. I mean, we don't have a lot around here, and so I want to tell our audience you're from MINOT.
I am.
And you kind of gig on a semi-regular basis as a jazz vocalist.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's
very
not
true.
only amazing, but it's wonderful. And I did have the opportunity to perform with you once, and you're absolutely great. How did you gravitate to being a jazz vocalist? Because I've got to tell you, your hometown is MINOT.
Yes.
And there is a plethora of great musicians in MINOT.
Yes.
But a lot of them, by reputation, are opera singers.
Yes.
And sing lieder and you know, arias and classical music. How did you kind of find a niche in the jazz vocal area?
Well, actually, the classical music is where I started, and I did perform with the Western Plains Opera and did that very type of thing. And so my introduction into jazz was through Steve Vickley, who's had been a part of the Glenn Miller Orchestra, and his hometown is from Mohall, and had come back to Minot and was playing with our city band. And so I had performed a classical piece with the city band, Vilia. And so I performed that piece, and the next week he was in my office and stuck his head in and said, I think I'd like to have you sing with my band. And I said, I don't know jazz, I don't do jazz, but gee, it sounds like fun. And so he didn't hear a no in that, and gave me the opportunity to learn and to try, and also has been a really, really good mentor and teacher.
That sounds like Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of classical vocalists. I mean, I know a lot of classical, and they are terrified of the jazz persona.
Yeah.
And yet, the two are similar because there's very strong stylings in both. You just don't sing the notes. What style, what period, who are you trying to emulate while still being your own voice? Was that a tough transition for you?
It was an interesting transition because there are, as you said, there are similarities because there are styles and individual things that you might try to emulate. But whereas with the classical music, you know, there's a lot of vibrato and a lot of, well, you're singing in a different range. So I had sung as a high soprano, and I'm singing much, much lower than I ever thought I would or could. So that's an interesting transition too.
Did it take you a long time to figure that out, or did they tell you to sing lower, or did you ask them to you know, change keys a lot, or did you just go and learn to sing where they play?
Well, yes and yes. One of the things that Steve did was to write a couple arrangements for me of tunes that I knew to make it accessible for me.
And he talked to you beforehand about where your tessitura was,
exactly.
that comfort range.
And So then, as I began to learn the style and began to kind of get a feel for things, then we gradually began to move things lower to be able to bring out those deeper sounds, that more jazz sound.
Mm-hmm. So when you were strictly working in the classical mode, did you listen to jazz vocalists?
Well, not a lot. It was kind of a foreign thing to me. So it was just like opening up a whole new world, and it was very, very exciting and very appealing.
So who did you gravitate toward in terms of your own stylings, and who did you want to model yourself after as a vocalist?
I think it's always an ongoing process as a musician. So I've listened to a lot of Doris Day and a lot of Ella and a lot of a variety of different, some Billie Holiday, some of those different vocalists, and listened to a number of them. And so there are pieces and things that different ones do with styles and with the way that you shape a tone, and all those things are things that as an artist you begin to listen to and to think about, oh, I like that, I'd like to do that. I didn't like that so much, I won't do that, you know.
That's a great answer, you know, that really encapsulates the whole history of jazz. So you're going all the way back to the 40s and 50s, and, you know, which is really a huge era for female vocalists.
Yes.
I mean, you kind of hate to say it, but 30s, 40s, 50s was the golden age.
Yes. And the music that came out of that era is just, it's unequaled. You know, it's so wonderful.
It is, and I just can't torture our audience any longer. So we're going to cut away now and hear you sing. Introduce the selection you're going to perform for us today.
Well, the first tune is Walter Hirsch and Fred Rose tune, and it's called Deed I Do. And when it was introduced to me, Steve said, well, it's just a good excuse for musicians to swing. And as we began to learn the tune, I thought, oh, this is just a lot of fun. So it's a very simple tune, simple lyrics, but a lot of fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first time in the history of television that a trained classical singer is going to swing. And I'm proud to do it right on this show. All kidding aside, you'll love this. This is Terri Aldrich. Here we go.
Terri Aldrich.
Do I want you? Oh my, do I, honey? Did I do? Do I need you? Oh my, do I, honey? Did I do? I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. That's why I'm always hanging around you. Do I love you? Oh my, do I, honey? Did I do? Do I want you? Oh my, do I, honey? Did I do? Don't you know that I need you? Yes, I do. Oh, baby, I surely do. Oh, my, did I do? I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. That's why I'm always hanging round you. Do I want you? Oh, my, do I, honey? Did I do? Mr. Bob Miller, ladies and gentlemen. gentlemen. Need you, yes I do. Oh baby, I surely do. I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. Talking about your loving, 'cause I love you. I love you, baby. Indeed I do. Do I want you? Oh my. Do I, honey? Indeed I do. Do I need you? Oh my. Do I, honey? Indeed I do. I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. That's why I'm always hanging round you. Do I love you? Oh my. Do I, honey? 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 Did I do?
That was Terri Aldrich and a famous jazz composition, Indeed I Do. Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
You certainly looked like you were having fun.
It was fun, and it was kind of fun to just trade things back and forth with you, too.
And tell us a little bit about where that was filmed and the occasion.
It was at the Integrity Jazz Festival, and it was in June, and in MINOT's beautiful Roosevelt Park.
Yes, it certainly is. Yeah. You looked like you were having a great time, and the musicians looked like they were having a great time.
It was a great time and a great group. What a fabulous experience to perform with a whole group of world-class musicians. I mean, it's every vocalist's dream to step on the stage with people like that. And so everything that you do is enhanced by the quality of the musicians around you.
Absolutely. And I bet transitioning from walking out and singing an aria, you know, and to moving around on stage, letting that personality just flow into the audience. Was that difficult, or did you, I bet you just globbed right onto that, and that was not challenging for you?
Well, there are always challenging things when you take on something different. You know, performing in an opera is a lot of fun because you get to act. And so that's a fun piece, you know. So this is acting of a different sort because you put what's in your face or what's in your heart from the song into your face and into the gestures that you use.
Yeah, I can tell you're having a great time when you do that. This is something I ask everybody. If we're taking a cruise and the boat sinks, heaven forbid, and you only have time to grab one disc and get on the lifeboat and go to the desert island. One disc now, okay?
You had to do that.
Of course. Show is predicated on that question.
Okay.
Tell me, give me your idea. What disc would you grab?
Oh my goodness. Can I mix them up?
One disc.
One disc. Gee. Goodness. The one that springs to mind, and I don't recall the title of it, but it is a Chet Baker CD that was brought into my office. And it just, every time I listen to it, there's just such sweetness. So that's what goes through my mind, but there are also some wonderful gospel tunes too, but yeah.
No room for those on the boat.
Oh, God.
So you would pick a male vocalist who plays trumpet.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah. So I would never have guessed that in all of the time. Well, we want to hear another selection. That was so much fun. We're going to go back to the same concert and introduce the tune that you're going to sing for us now.
Well, it's an Alec Wilder tune, and Alec Wilder does a fabulous job combining the American songbook with jazz. And so this particular tune is called I'll Be Around. And he wrote the tune in about 20 minutes. Apparently found the words to the tune in the bottom of a taxi cab on the floor, and took that and wrote the words and the tune. And so,
you know, when you go back to MINOT, you've got to have your own television show.
You think so?
Got all kinds of information.
Hey.
Anyway, once again, we're going to feature Terri. I'll be around, and again, you're going to enjoy this immensely.
A uniquely American art form, jazz. And I think it's entirely appropriate in a day that we celebrate jazz that we also feature the works of a composer that so beautifully combine jazz with the American songbook. The works of Alec Wilder have a very personal touch that is unquestionably his own. I'll be around no matter how you treat me now. I'll be around from now on. Your latest love can never last, and when it's past, I'll be around when she's gone. Goodbye again. And if you find a love like mine, just now and then drop a line to say you're feeling fine. And when things go wrong, perhaps you'll see you're meant for me, and I'll be around when she's gone. If you find a love like mine, just now and then drop a line to say you're feeling fine. And when things go wrong, perhaps you'll see you're meant for me, and I'll be around when she's gone.
That was our guest artist, Terri Aldrich from MINOT, singing at the Integrity Jazz Festival in MINOT last summer, doing I'll Be Around. And again, great job.
Thank you.
Great job. Great
Thank
job.
you.
So in a typical year, how many gigs will you do?
Oh, you would ask me that, wouldn't you? At least a couple a month.
It's great.
At least. So it's amazing to think of it that way. It's just such glorious fun.
Oh, I can tell. It's just, yeah, it is wonderful fun. Tough to memorize the lyrics, or not so hard? Because I would think compared to classical music, you've got French, German, Italian, and all the inflection of that. I would imagine singing in English and doing the stylization of the different artists is not as tough as their classical repertoire.
Well, each one has their own unique things that require particular attention. So yes, while memorizing the lyrics is probably easier, there are some other things that might be a little more challenging.
Yeah, great. And I know everybody is asking this that's sitting in the audience. You play a little piano?
Oh my goodness. I play very poorly. I play well enough to get myself by, so I can play enough so that I can help myself out as I'm learning a tune and plunk out a chord or two here and there. But oh my goodness, don't ever ask me to play in public.
Well, because again, learning, it's very challenging to carry the melody and hear bass lines and drummers and guitarists and keyboard players and all kind of instruments in the background. And so I would imagine a little bit of time has to be spent on piano to really solidify where that is.
It really does. It really does. Yeah. More time than most people might imagine.
Yeah. And what do you have what is looming on your horizon in the near future? Any exciting gigs that we want to know about?
Well, there's some, of course, our next jazz festival is coming up, and we do that in the summer. It's generally the third Saturday in June, and so that's coming up, and that's a big thing, and we've got a few other gigs with our Java Jive Jazz group that we perform with, but also we've started a new group called the Gentle Winds Orchestra. So that we've been rehearsing for some upcoming gigs with that, and that's just a lot of fun.
Well, I strongly encourage anybody in the audience, third Saturday in June, great weather, great excuse to drive up to MINOT, have some good food, but enjoy the fabulous music at the Integrity Jazz Festival. And Terri, what a delight to have you on the show.
Well, thank you so much for offering me this opportunity.
And we're going to have you down to Bismarck to sing.
All right.
I guarantee it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
We'll see you. And tune in for another segment of Prebys on Music next week, right here on Dakota Media Access. We'll see you then.